Let me go to Tom Winter. Tom, I know that you brought this story to us from the very beginning. What do you know, and remind folks of exactly what is facing Bob Menendez now?
Right. Well, following his conviction, Chris, our colleagues at Capitol Hill, our NBC team there, reported that the senator was believed to be resigning. He then responded publicly and he said, no, that's not true. I'm still considering it, and I'm not going down that path just yet, effectively, is what he said. Well, now it's the reporting of our colleagues, Jonathan Dienst and Ryan Nobles, that in fact the senator is expected to resign, that he has told some members of his staff that he is resigning, and that he anticipates sending a letter to New Jersey's Governor Phil Murphy, effectively saying as much. So that's where it stands right now. Just to take us all a step back, and this is the opportunity to roll all that gold and cash video that we've been showing here from his trial that was taken in federal evidence. We know that he was convicted on 16 counts tied to federal bribery conspiracy, acting on behalf of a foreign nation, as well as obstruction of justice. This cash, almost $500,000, seized from his home in New Jersey and the home that he shares with his wife. Federal prosecutors making the successful argument that the senator is effectively corrupt. That's what they said. And they said that he's somebody who took bribes in exchange for official acts. So it has been, as previously alluded to, a quite stunning fall from grace for the senior senator from New Jersey, whose career in federal politics, elected to Congress in the early 1990s, then appointed to the Senate in 2006, when Jon Corzine gave up that seat, and appointed by Jon Corzine in 2006, and has been somebody who's been on the FBI's radar, as we've reported, in a number of federal criminal investigations for over the past 10 years or so. So that's something that we've been tracking for a long time, Chris, as you've been well aware.
NBC's Ryan Nobles is on Capitol Hill for us. So, look, you and I were just talking about the fact that after weeks of chaos and discord among Democrats about what to do about Joe Biden, finally a kind of calm, even some level of euphoria has settled over the Capitol. The last thing, fair to say, that they wanted was to have to expel one of their own Democratic members.
Yeah, Chris, I think that's a pretty safe assessment, but I know from our reporting that they were fully prepared to do that. And I think that was at least part of the calculation for Bob Menendez, who has been somebody throughout the course of his career who's been willing to engage in a fight. Remember that he's gone through two criminal corruption trials here. The first ended in a hung jury. Throughout that entire saga, he was called on to resign, even by some in his own party, refused to do so. The trial ended in a hung jury, and then he was reelected. And I think he thought that that's how this process may play out a second time. Of course, there was just a bevy of evidence, as Tom and Jonathan and others on our team have outlined in their reporting, and it just seemed insurmountable. The conviction was overwhelming, 16 different counts. And that made it impossible for any of his Democratic colleagues here in Washington to continue to stand by him. And it was almost immediate after the conviction came down that the members of the Democratic caucus lined up calling for his resignation. But it was even more significant that a good number of them, including his seatmate in New Jersey, Senator Cory Booker, who had stayed by his side throughout this entire process, said that he would lead the charge to expel him if he didn't resign. I think that was a signal and a sign to Bob Menendez that if you try and stick this one out, that there will be consequences, and you don't want on your record that you were the first senator to be expelled from the United States Senate since the Civil War, which was the history that he was up against if he chose to go down that path. And Chris, this, as you rightly point out, is an opportunity for Democrats to move past this chapter because now they have a Democratic governor in New Jersey who will replace Senator Menendez on a temporary basis. They already have a Democratic nominee in Andy Kim, who is the congressman from New Jersey, who has in many ways defied the political machine in New Jersey to place himself in a position for a Democratic nomination. The question is, does Phil Murphy choose a placeholder just to hold on to that seat through the November election, or does he give Andy Kim the opportunity to take the seat immediately, run as an incumbent, and then if he were to win, build up some seniority, not nearly a seniority that Menendez had, but at least give him a bit of a head start on the other freshmen that will be elected next year? That's the question, Chris.